What's going on, guys? It's Tetrosphere, and we do have another installment in the series from the 3v3 Justice Hunters case tournament from GalaxyBusterTCG. Let's jump right into the question of the day, where I do want to know from you guys for the Phantom Revengers deck building pack. What do you like best? Do you like Killer Tune, Heck of Hands, or any of Craft? Me personally, I'm leaning Killer Tune, but let me know down below what you guys think. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump on into the match. I do not think I know these players. I think I recognize that backpack, but I don't think that's the man, the myth, the legend himself. Also, anyone watching this video, in case you're curious why there is a Cupsy Wupsy over here, it is in fact censoring a profanity that I do not wish to have associated with the channel. So yeah, there's that. Let's see if we can zoom ahead through the shuffling. Here is the dice roll. Didn't quite catch what was there, but we do see a fist bump. Okay, so I think this is the same player as our feature in the last video, playing Dracotail on the left. This time on the right, I'm guessing this is Yummy. Regardless, Dracotail is going to start things off with us, and we're going to normal summon Lucius. I believe I saw a Memento in hand, so I am curious to see what we add. Looks like we're going for a Malulu, just so that way we have additional options for our graveyard effects of any fusion summons that we perform. Looks like we have Memento, we have Urgula, we have Pan, so honestly a very nice hand there. Different cards, so we can resolve different effects, nothing redundant. So here we are going to go ahead and attempt the Memento effect to perform a fusion summon. And, ooh, it is Canine Memento on the right is what it appears we are up against. So we're going to go ahead and go Urgula and Malulu from hand to summon in our Thalion. Let's see what we're targeting here. Looks like the Malulu and the Memento. And then we're going to go Chainlink 2 Urgula, Chainlink 3 Malulu to set. We already have that Ketu Dracotail in hand, so I wonder if we're going to extend it all, like if we're going to try to establish a Gulamel, or if we're simply going to set the two traps and pass with the Memento, Malulu, and Pan in hand, which in and of itself is a formidable board. Okay, so there's the Spell Negate. And I did see us pass the horn. So yeah, we are going to go set the Rahu, which means we are going to try to perform at least one more fusion summon here using Rahu, which makes sense. Although here on Resolution, we're going to attempt Izuna from hand to summon. And then, of course, on summon, she is going to Foolish a Canine accept herself. So clearly, Lupus is going to be hitting the grave here. And looks like we're going to go straight into an Xyz summon. We have something in mind here. Ripper definitely makes sense because unless we have a field effect to chain block, Ripper is likely going to be able to negate something on the field, or from the grave, rather. And of course, on the following turn, she can Search Engine. Just getting some guidance from our B player as to what the proper play is here. Personally, I think you go Ripper because you probably are aware that you're up against a fusion deck, and the Valon Book of Moon is not going to be excellent. Nash Knight can be decent too. But we are just going to go for the Ripper, which I think is definitely the play. Taking a quick read over there, Ripper can negate an effect activated in the hand or grave, and as I'm sure we've just pointed out, while she has Lupus as material, she gains the effect that she cannot be targeted by the opponent's card effects. Alright, so looks like we're just revealing what we have set off of our effects from the previous fusion summon. Now that our opponent controls a monster, though, we don't have to use that Rahu. We can actually use the Ketu, which will allow us to add and then perform a fusion summon, so this can get us even stronger value. We do have the option of fusing away the Pan plus something else in hand. And then if you put Lucius on Chainlink 2, Pan on Chainlink 1, that'll chain block the Pan, which can then just pop the Ripper. Yes, so it looks like we have done exactly that. Dracotail Pan is on Chainlink 1 with the Lucius on Chainlink 2. So as our opponent is about to become supremely aware, our Ripper is about to get destroyed by the effect of Dracotail Pan. Worth noting that because we have not used a Rahu or Malulu to perform a fusion, we are not locked into fusions. So that Seal's play is definitely online. Urgula can now go ahead and bottom deck itself to put that Lucius back in hand. So the hand is Memento, Lucius, and Malulu, with both of the traps set and a Rahu set for follow-up. We do have the Seals, which can summon Malulu from deck to perform a fusion summon, or we could even summon Pan or Urgula from deck if we play multiple Pan to fuse those off from field and get their effects if necessary using the Memento from hand. But we are passing on this, and Memento draws up to 5 cards. I'm seeing 4 Memento cards, I think, or no, 3 with, I think that's a Jokel, and we have Called by the Grave, which is going to be absolutely massive. However, we have 2 cards from Dracotail here that can sort of force the Called By, being both Seals and the Memento. So we'll see which one our opponent chooses to negate. We're going to go ahead and normal summon Anguish, which its effect is not going to be meant with any interaction, adding the Tatsuno Shigo from deck to hand. Let's see what we got. So we are going to go ahead and attempt to activate Summon from hand. And on summon, we're going to attempt the effect of Horn to target the Tatsuno Shigo, put it back in the hand. Unsure why we put it in attack position, but we did, which means it is a live target for the Dracotail Horn. So the horse is going to go back in hand. Pan is going to go on the bottom of the deck from grave, and we're going to draw into a Rahu. However, we have the Jokel revealing itself and the Tatsuchi. I'm sick of saying it. The horse. So we're going to attempt Seals here. This is going to force the Called by the Grave, which means, fortunately, Memento is online, but we're just going to use the Flame to negate it. Alright, so it looks like Flame is not going to be responded to. We're going to go ahead and negate the Call by the Grave, and then Seals is going to bounce the horse back to hand. And then on a new chain, Seals is mandatory to attempt to summon any dragon from deck, changing its attack and defense to 0. Looks like we're considering chaining the Lupus here, but we choose not to. Looks like we're considering the Pan play. I do think I like this quite a bit here, getting its non-target destructive effect once again. If we're able to fuse off with the Memento into an Arthalion using the Pan on field plus whatever else from hand, We're going to get not only the bounces from the or the bounce, if not bounces, from Arthalion, plus the pop from Pan. Looks like we're going Jokel effect here, which is going to add either Azuna or Lantern. Thinking about what to add here. Considering the options in hand. What to do? What are we thinking here? Do we not have a target? I mean, I saw the Lantern. It's possible this is not actually the effect of Jokel. I just am assuming it is. Because as far as I'm aware, it's the only effect we have that would allow us to access our deck. Yeah, so there is the Lantern. So that was, in fact, the effect of Jokel. If we have a way to get that Tatushino, the horse, from hand to grave. Well, no, Lantern, scratch that. Lantern is unlike Jokel. It can only revive a canine. Alright, so we are going with the effective Lantern targeting. Looks like the Azuna. So we're going to go effective Fimena here, which if we don't have a quick response, is going to allow us to go Chain Link 2 Guillemel target to pop. And it looks like we are going with the Lantern, which is nice because that's going to mean we don't get a spell. It looks like we're discussing Chain Links here, so Guillemel is activating to target the Lantern. Lantern hits the grave, and ooh, we could be bouncing a lot of cards here. Looks like Fualos, Malulu, and Lucius from hand. So Arthalion is going to be able to bounce a total of 3 cards from field or grave back to the hand. And Pan is going to get to pop, and Malulu is going to get to negate a card. And all 3, Pan, Malulu, and Lucius, are going to get to set. Alright, so it looks like we're adding back the Fimena, the Azuna, and the Jokel. And apparently we didn't think we had any more pushes because we decided at that point to just go ahead and scoop. 3 bounces is quite a lot. Definitely shows you how powerful the boss monster Dracotail Arthalion actually is. So we decide that we're just going to go ahead and call it there. Moving into the side deck, I noticed the first thing we did right away was take out the 3 Fualos, but I did not see... Oh, it looks like it's just Solemns. Okay, fair enough. Those are obviously decent into this matchup. Get those spells negated. In terms of what you're bringing in, going second against Memento... breakers aren't really that great. If you're playing Ghost Spell on the side, that could come in. I think Nibiru's good. But you probably don't deviate too much from just your main deck game plan because, yeah, it looks like I saw Drolls come in, and that might have been Shaddoll Fusion. If I saw that right. We'll see. Definitely, I think the takeaway from game 1 there for us at home watching playing Dracotail is that by holding the Ketu until after a monster was established, we were able to get a lot more value out of it. And I think that that was a lot more massive than might have met the eye there, how important that play actually was. Alright, players have shuffled up, offered cut. Cards are drawn. We do see that trap card on the side of Dracotail, which is not great. But I do think I see the Shaddoll Fusion, which is a phenomenal breaker. I'm going to go ahead and start off by activating Memento Ticklin and then normal summon Goblin. Looks like the other cards were Imperm, Horse, and Sleepy. Goblin is blowing itself up to add, I believe it is a Memento monster from deck to hand. Or maybe it's a... Oh, it Foolish is a Memento card. I forget all their effects, man, I'll be honest. Does this thing Foolish 2 Memento cards? Let's see here. Oh my god, yeah, you can send up to 2 Memento cards with different names by blowing up a Memento you control. That's crazy. So we got Anguish and Fusion sent to grave. Reveal Horse. Horse summons itself correctly in defense position this time. Attempt Horse effect, blow itself up, and send up to level 5's worth of Memento monsters from deck to grave. Typically, this includes Gatic, so that makes up 2 of our 5, leaving 3 levels remaining. And it looks like we're just going to go with another Anguish. Gatic is attempting to summon itself, and then I think Ticklin is triggering because a monster you control was destroyed by card effect. They can target one, I think it's of lower level than the one that was popped, and summon it. Something like that. So out comes the Anguish, out comes the Gatic, and then Gatic, I think, is going to add one from grave, and then Anguish is going to add one from deck. So the Fusion comes back. And Anguish is going to go ahead and add Akihiron. We're shuffling our deck very carefully as if we're not about to go into it again for the rest of the turn, which I find unlikely. Sleepy, activate, summon from hand, and then perform a Fusion summon. Using itself and the Akihiron, it would seem. This, I believe, is the Twin-Headed Dragon, yes. Twin-Headed Dragon, I think when it's summoned, blows up, and then... I think it adds 2 or something like that. Like, that's an insane monster, for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it blows itself up, and then adds 2... Yeah. Or maybe it sends 2. But regardless, it's Mace and Combined Creation. Yeah, it's adding them. Okay. Checking our grave there. We do have 5 names. But we're not quite there yet. I do think the Akihiron here has some triggers. Yep, it's summoning itself as well as... This might have been off the effect of the Twin Dragon. I do believe... let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think it's the Twin Dragon blows something up to add 2, and then if it's blown up, it summons 2. Is that what it is? Going for a rank 5 here, which makes sense because of the K9 engine. We're going to go ahead and go into our Ripper, which we're going to likely attempt to perform a search here. Now, because Dracotail has not activated a monster effect, Ripper won't get the additional benefit of setting, but it seems like with that in mind, we're actually holding that resource for perhaps negating something like a Nibiru. And we're going to go ahead and use the Mentatlan Fusion to summon the Creation King. Who on summon, I believe, sends 3 Mementos from deck or extra deck to the grave. Oh, I just noticed, I think my background music is a bit loud here. Let me turn that down. Sorry if it's been a little overpowering. Hopefully that's better now. Only halfway through the video, I notice. My apologies, folks. Alright, so it looks like we're sending... Oh, we still play the trap. Okay, so we sent, I believe that's Cranium Burst, Bone Party, and Dark Blade. Very carefully shuffling once again. and here we go, searching. So it looks like we're just grabbing Forced Liberation. I'm unsure exactly which effect allowed us to do that, but I am pretty confident that some Memento, either it was Anguish or Mace, which allows it to pop something to come back. And then on summon, it looks like it's popping Gaddock to add. And it looks like it is adding Bone Party. We are banishing the fusion, which I believe simply allows us to add another fusion. Yep. For the 7th or 8th time, we are now shuffling our deck. Alright, and it looks like now the big man himself is about to hit the field as we are shuffling back Darkblade, Gaddock, Mace, Sleepy, Anguish to summon the combined creation. Shuffling our deck once again, and I assume we are going to follow this up with an activation of Bone Party to destroy the Goblin and add Mace to hand so that we have a... Oh, we're actually offering cut this time, so maybe we're not going to go ahead and get back into our deck. Looks like we're just going to set those cards. Imperm. We know about the Forced Liberation, etc. And then in the end phase, the Memento Field spell is going to allow us to set that trap from the graveyard, which I know the Memento has the 2 traps, but they've kind of fallen out of place, so I'm not super familiar with which is which. This is probably the one that makes Combined Creation into an Appaloosa, which could be pretty massive. So let's go ahead and draw for turn, and it is a Rahu. So between the Rahu and the Shaddoll Fusion, plenty of board-breaking potential here, which looks like that is what we start off with, is Shaddoll Fusion, which while our opponent controls a monster special summon from the extra deck, I think is the condition, it is effectively a branded fusion for Shaddolls. This is not met with a response. As far as our graveyard effects are concerned, the only negate that we know we need to worry about is the Ripper. I believe that both the Appaloosa-like effect and the Ripper need to respond to the effect, so at any one time it will not be the case that both could be negated. It looks like we are going into, oh gee, is it like Grista or something like that? I forget the fire one, but it allows you to use, it looks like it was Hedgehog and Urgula from deck. Hedgehog, I think, is going to send another Shaddoll, and then Urgula is going to set and pop a spell trap. Hedgehog likely is attempting to send, if you play it, probably Shaddoll Dragon to pop another spell trap. And I don't know that guy's effect. Let me see if I can look this up. El Shaddoll Grista. It lets you negate an inherent special summon while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand. And as part of the effect, it'll send the Shaddoll card from hand to grave. And if it itself is sent to grave, it can target a Shaddoll spell trap in the grave and add it to hand. So with all that said, it looks like we are resolving Urgula and Hedgehog. Urgula is setting Ketu, and it looks like we're considering what to pop here. It could be the field spell. But we will see. It looks like that is what we go for. And on a new chain here, we do have Anguish, which was summoned off of the effect of Combined Creation, to add. And we're going to go ahead and get right back into our Mace, which is the Snatch Steal-like effect from hand while we control Combined Creation. My guess is we either didn't have a target for Hedgehog, or I don't know what would have negated it, because Ripper still has material. So it must not have been utilized, because nothing got sent. Looks like we're going for Bone Party here. Popped the Goblin to add the Gaddock. Or summon Gaddock, sorry. And we're going to attempt now Ketu Dracotail. We're adding Lucius. Do we perform a fusion summon? It looks like we do. There's the Shaddolls that we probably would have sent off Hedgehog. Looks like a Beast, and I think the other one was Squamata. Here comes the Arthalion, which I'm expecting Arthalion to be met with Imperm here. Looks like we're targeting Ripper. Hedgehog and Lucius, perhaps? Okay, so our targets are Ripper, Hedgehog, and Lucius. And then we're going to go Lucius to set, Beast to draw. And then it looks like we're not triggering Squamata. Alright, so we are just going to go ahead and use Ripper, it seems here, to go ahead and negate the Beast draw. And we are going to go ahead and activate the Infinite Impermanence on Arthalion, which is fine. So keeping in mind that the impermed column is going to be the one in between the Arthalion and the Grista there. So Lucius is still going to resolve here. We're putting the horn in the imperm column, which is clever because that means we can't accidentally play into it. And of course, it's not live this turn anyway. Now we're going to attempt the Forced Liberation targeting Ripper, which is going to allow us to move up into our werewolf. So on the opponent's turn, there is going to be a hand rip in response to any card effect activation. Also, the quick play pops a card, so Horn is going to in fact hit the grave. Alright, so now we attempt Rahu Dracotail, which I think it's only logical that Werewolf would react here and rip something from hand. Both monsters in hand have already been utilized as fusion material, so no rip is going to be, like, terribly harmful here. Like, any more so than any other. And either way, it comes back in end phase. Or actually, yeah, Urgula's already been used, so... And so has Beast. I don't think either of these are actually live. I think there's an argument to maybe even get rid of the Flame, because if a grind game is forced, you know it can't be set in end phase. But we're just going to use Pan and Beast from hand to make a Gulamel. And then Pan is going to trigger here to set and non-target pop a monster. Worth pointing out that we are now, at this time, locked into fusions. Now, if we don't have a chain block here, Gulamel is going to be live to do a targeted pop. This happened last game, but we are, in fact, reading Gulamel once again. And it looks like we were pointing at the back row there, not 100% sure what we want to target. Targeting the werewolf. Okay. That's classy. And it looks like we are going to go ahead and respond with the trap, which... And then this might be another chain link with the Mace Take. Okay, so we Mace Take Arthalion. Gulamel is negated by the Combined Creation, losing 1,000 attack. And then Pan is still going to resolve by setting something and popping a monster. So we're gonna set Ketu. And what do we pop here? Combined Creation it is. Let's see, how big is Grista? 2450, so not tiny. If we want to, we could potentially take care of some of this field in battle. However, we do have that Creation King to contend with, which will have the option to blow up quite a bit, if desired. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and go for the battle phase, and we're going to declare Gulamel into the Anguish. And then it looks like the attack declaration is going to be met with the Combined Creation or Creation King, whichever one it is, targeting itself, Anguish, and Gaddock to just blow up the entire field. This is going to trigger Pan and Grave. And apparently also, yes, the Grista. So Grista is targeting Shaddoll Fusion to add it back to hand, and then Pan can special summon a non-fusion Dracotail from Grave. Probably Lucius to get the search, which is going to get us, or I guess we're going Urgula. Excuse me. Alright, so we do summon the Urgula, and I forget if Akihiron has an effect that triggers when it's destroyed by battle, but we could go ahead and swing Urgula over Akihiron if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like we are going to do just that. Alright, so main phase 2, we're going to go ahead and set the Dracotail Flame, get our Arthalion back, and Urgula goes back to hand. And we're passing play back to our opponent, who has an unknown face down. I believe it's Bone Party. I think we had 2 Bone Parties, but maybe I'm mistaken. And we do have the Werewolf. Plenty of stuff in the graveyard, so let's see if we're able to get that creation, the big man, back out on the field. That is a possibility. And it does seem that we're doing just that. Putting back Gatic Akihiron. Well, regardless, we've got Goblin, Tatsuno Shigo, whatever. Anguish, or no, that's Mace. And then we're putting the fusion back as well. To go ahead and get the big dude right back on the field. Now that guy is able to attack every monster, I believe, but only while it's the only monster you control. So it looks like we're just going into battle phase to do some damage. Werewolf is going to go ahead and swing over the Urgula for something like 1,000 damage, and then something like 2k here from the creation into the Arthalion. Looks like we're on 5,100 life. We're going to go ahead and set another card, and we may be considering some link plays here. But we probably value the Appaloosa-like effect a bit more than something like an SP Banish. At least I would think. But maybe that's not the case. Yes, we are valuing the Memento boss monster, so we're going to go ahead and keep that on the field. And our friend playing Dracotail, it looks like they drew into a Mulcharmy. They're going to go ahead and activate the effect of Urgula here, bottom decking itself to put Lucius right back in the hand. This is fine. We now have Lucius. Creation King, because an effect was activated, can go ahead and summon a Memento from Grave. We're going to summon Anguish, and then Anguish is going to add probably Mace from deck to hand. There's the Mace, which I think is definitely the call. Here we have the normal summon of Lucius, and we are going to attempt its effect to add. Looks like that is responded with the combined creation, and that to me looks like a scoop if I've ever seen one, which makes sense. We do have probably only about 7 or 8 minutes left on the clock looking at the time left in this video, so I think considering the position we're in, we probably just want to go ahead and play establish a board, establish dominance, and then swing in for some damage, which this deck is very capable of doing. Maybe even sending our opponent first. However, with 7 or 8 minutes left, is that something you really want to do to Memento? On the other hand, if you're siding in a bunch of breakers and Charmies, your turn might be pretty quick if you're unable to continue to extend and you don't draw any of your 1-card starters. Maybe even you draw that Gaddock that you never want to see in your hand. But I just don't know if you send Memento first, even as like a surprise post-side element. I think you probably just want to make them play through your interactions, unable to get to battle phase and put up damage, and then do a quick swing for some damage of your own. I do think that's probably the play here. And yeah, I'm seeing Ashes and Fenrir's come in, so I think our friend here is definitely choosing first. I don't think we're sending Memento first here. Oh, we're pile shuffling despite the time constraint. Will we have what it takes to close this out, or does this game end in a draw? I actually find the draw scenario quite unlikely. Dracotail typically does not have the ability to just play for 7 or 8 minutes on its first turn. Usually it just does not have that sort of game plan in its tool belt. Usually it's just a few actions get you there. But we will see. As our players have finished siding, we are going to go ahead and move into our Game 3 scenario. Alright, we've got Fimena, Ash, Malulu. Couldn't quite make out the others on our opponent's side. I see a bunch of Memento cards and a Ghost Bell. We did send him first. Normal summon Darkblade. We're going to go ahead and activate Fimena here to perform a fusion summon. We're going to use the Shaddoll, I think that's Beast and Malulu, to make Winda. Oh my goodness. This was in response to the effect of Darkblade to blow itself up and special summon from the deck. So Goblin has been special summoned, and unless we have a way to deal with the Winda, it will be the only special summon we're able to conduct this turn. So Malulu is going to activate to negate something, and then Squamata is going to activate... God, what does that one do? Shadow Squamata. Okay, that's the one that just sends another Shaddoll. Why did I think Hedgehog did that? Am I tripping? What does Hedgehog do? This came up last video. I'm bad at remembering stuff. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and send a Beast, which is then going to draw us a card. Malulu sets and negates the Goblin. Oh man, that's just nasty. Draw a card off the Beast. It's another Malulu. What do we have? I do see a trap there on the side of Mementos, but I think it's just an imperm. So we have something we can set, which is going to take care of that Winda. But on our opponent's turn, is that even really that beneficial? Because that just means that Dracotail is going to get to play as much as they want. Go in for some damage. Yikes. Turn is passed. We do get the Ghost Bell, and that's going to be massive here if we handle the Winda. Malulu is normal summoned. And we're just going to go into the battle phase, blow up the Goblin directly with Winda for, I think, 2,400. Main phase 2, we're going to go ahead and activate Ketu. This is going to give us an add. Yeah, I think you blow that back row up now if you can. Yep, there's the Malulu. No, use the Urgula. Yep, okay, cool. Malulu and Urgula to make a Gulamel. Oh, he just scoops it up. I think he knows he can't play through the Winda, and the Imperm was his only win con. I don't know if you needed to scoop it there, though, because if your top deck was another Imperm, Your field's going to be empty. You could take care of the wind and potentially play, right? Because, I mean, well, maybe not, though. What else is in your hand, right? I see Ghost Bell. I see Sleepy. I couldn't make out the other one, but if that was not a way to play, then it's just over, especially considering the time constraint. I do believe that was pretty much time being called there right then and there. So, we do see Dracotail pulling ahead against Memento in this match. Thank you so much to the players for participating and allowing me to film and do this commentary. Thank you guys for watching the video. I think we have 3 or 4 more left in the series, so I'm excited to continue to put these out for you to watch. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.